All right, so I wanted to talk to you about what we call the three P's. This is what we like to share with our patients, the three P's, which most people can relate to this. So the first one is pain. Uh, what we do in our office with chiropractic care, the stretches, the exercises that we give, the adjustments, the posture exercises, the core exercises, the extension traction, it's great for pain. And typically when someone comes in, they're in pain. And whatever that pain may be, neck pain, low back, maybe it's mid back, a rib, maybe it's carpal tunnel with, pain going down the arms into the hands, numbness and tingling, pain traveling down the leg like sciatica, whatever it may be. Um, just a couple of other conditions and things that present to our office pretty frequently are sinus issues and congestion. So a lot of sinus pressure. That's one thing. And also reflux. Those are two other things that present. But, chiropractic is awesome for that. And we'll typically tell people, listen, it's going to take some time to get you stable, but you can expect to get out of pain pretty soon. Typically, if we're laying out a care plan for people and say we're recommended 24 to 36 visits, that's around where the research shows to get the spine stable. Typically, depending on how old that person is, how long the problem is, how many subluxations they have based on the x-rays, what phase of degeneration they're in. But typically within that first phase, they're going to be feeling much better. It might not be 100%, but we're really starting to get a grasp on that first P, the pain. Okay. And then into the second phase, normally we're starting to really work on the posture, and the pain's really decreased. And by the third phase, most of the pain's gone. It's not that we're so great, but your body's an amazing thing. It is created to heal and to adapt, which is great. So typically that's happening. And then what will happen is like a crossroads. This might happen before that person's even done with their initial recommended care plan, where they're feeling so good and they're almost like, man, I'm feeling really good. The pain is gone, and that's what prompted me to come in. That's what caused me to actually take an action step and actually come into the office. So I don't know, should I keep coming at this frequency? Should I come less? What we're always telling people is, listen, it's a rhythm of adjustments to get the spine stable. If there's degeneration and arthritis, and if there's fibrosis and adhesions, if there's scar tissue in there, we want to break that up. That takes time. So typically we'll tell people, yes, get to the end where we're going to take a follow-up motion study with you. But then what I'm also telling him is the second P, I said, listen, we want to get you out of pain, but we want to prevent it from coming back again, right? It's what you bring to the table. The longer I'm in this, and I just hit the 25-year mark actually in practice, and I'm also 51 years old, I don't bounce back like I did when I was 41 or 31, or definitely not 21. So it's kind of like what you bring to the table. Sometimes you have your days, right? So, if you're in your 30s or 40s, you're probably starting to experience this. I know 50 and 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds, they definitely tell me that, oh yeah, I definitely don't bounce back. But typically, in our 20s and 30s, we're still kind of invincible. I get it. But what I'm explaining to people is, listen, you want to prevent the pain from coming back again. You want to bounce back quicker. That's important. The third P, and this is the big one, this one is performance. So what's that mean? It's well, there's a lot of research to show how chiropractic adjustments affect the brain. I know it helps me to clear brain fog. It helps to get me in a better mood. But there's research around, we just had research, I think it was 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I had a research study talking about how when you get your neck adjusted, it helps with grip strength. It's what are you doing in your day-to-day where maybe you could use more grip strength, as an example. But I know with me, it helps with flexibility. It helps me with my workouts, get through my workouts quicker, bounce back from my workouts. This is all performance type things. Even if you look at sports, pretty much every major sport has chiropractic care involved in it. So performance doesn't mean you have to play a sport. You could be a mom. That's probably the hardest, sport out there. I did a video a few weeks back that I was a blue collar worker. Maybe you're a tradesperson. A lot of people that are in the trades come in as patients. Maybe you sit at a desk all day and your performance is focusing, in your job. And maybe, if you have an issue where you can't stay focused, that affects your performance. So the three P's: pain, preventing pain, and preventing the problem from coming back again, and also performance. Those three P's are what we like to educate our patients about as far as the benefits that they can expect to get in our office. All right, I hope this makes sense for you. And definitely, the conversations that we like to have in our workshops. I'm doing a workshop tonight. I like to ask the question, if you knew you were going to live to be 100 years old, if you knew you live into 100, How would you change the way you take care of yourself? How would you change choices that you make about your health? How old's the oldest person that you know in your family, or a family friend, or maybe someone from work, like their parents or something like that. You're gonna hear people say, "Oh yeah," like we were just talking about this yesterday. Someone said 103. Someone else said like late 90s. So however old you are right now, you could have another potential 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever it may be. What's your quality of life going to look like when you get there? That's the conversation that we're starting to have with our patients around this like 25-year anniversary. We're saying, yeah, I'm done with the first half of my career because I have really young kids. I'm joking, but basically, it's like, what's your quality of life going to look like, as you get older? These are things you should start to think about now. All right. Hope this finds you well, and I'll talk to you soon.